Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassie. I talk about video games, do video game reviews, unboxings, pickups, and all sorts of video game related topics. Today I want to talk about the Game Award nominees and kind of just go over every category and what's nominated and what my personal picks for each category is. I try to keep this as short as possible, but there's a lot of categories this year, so I'm really excited. I got 5 of the 6 correct for Game of the Year. If you didn't watch my last video was predicting what games were going to be nominated for Game of the Year. And then I'll also at the end talk about Game Club, what won for Game of the Month for December. Because the wheel just decided a couple of days ago, and then talk about what I'm playing currently, and then that'll be it for this video pretty much. I'm not going to go over the esport categories or any of that because I don't watch any of that stuff and I don't really care about it as much, I guess. So, but pretty much all the main categories I'm going to go over. And bear with me because I'm kind of catching a cold or something, which really sucks because I work in retail and next week is Black Friday and stuff, so hopefully this goes over quickly because I don't really want to deal with that. Anyway, Game of the Year category, there were 6 nominees, and we got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. The only one that I got wrong was Resident Evil 4. I actually had Sea of Stars in its spot. So, I think for me personally, I've only played 6 hours of Baldur's Gate 3. I think that will win most of the categories it's in, if I'm being honest. But my personal pick is going to be, out of these, is going to be Spider-Man 2. Now, my personal pick actually may be a very unpopular opinion, but I think the game that I liked the most this year was actually Hogwarts Legacy and Hi-Fi Rush. But Spider-Man 2, I'm about 40% in, and it's becoming one of my favorites too. So out of this category, I'm going to say Spider-Man 2. Just because it has improved a lot upon what things it didn't fully get right in Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales, even though those 2 games were great as well, but I think they were more B level, and Spider-Man 2 does definitely feel more like an A tier or S tier game. The mini games just really, I like them a lot. And it's a lot different. It feels a lot different, but also similar in some ways. Best game direction. Now, some of these I may not have played and I may vote for, but it's just based off of what I've seen and what I've heard, because I think it's good to just kind of not just be biased and just vote for only the ones that I play and I like, because you can actually look at it at more of a kind of a critical standpoint, and less of a personal taste. But best game direction, we've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. So best game direction really is kind of how they've made the game really innovative and different, and just the game overall, and how it plays and how it changes things for the gaming community. I think, to be quite honest, I think well, Baldur's Gate 3 definitely is different, I think, from probably anything else I've ever played. Now, I've never played like any of the Divinity Original Sin games. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I've never done any of that stuff. So, but I think that Tears of the Kingdom, from what I've seen and heard, really took things to a different level that other games have not done before. And the way that it was able to do the things that it did with like physics and different objects and fusing them together and stuff, that a lot of people would not expect it to even work on the Switch, because the Switch is, you know, a little bit backwards as far as technology goes in comparison to the other consoles. So the idea that it's actually made specifically for the Switch and only the Switch, and it works on there as well as it does, I think Tears of the Kingdom probably should take Best Game Direction. Alan Wake also seems to be like one of those that really kind of like changes things quite a bit as well, but I think it's definitely between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3 on this one. Best Narrative: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Spider-Man 2. Now, Final Fantasy 16 had a lot of issues for me, I think, as like a gameplay perspective. It just, there were a lot of inconsistencies with the game as far as like side quests and crafting and upgrades, and the combat was just, it was okay. But the story and the characters and the character development was actually very good. And so I would personally, as much as I know as like all of these have great narratives, I would personally give it to Final Fantasy 16. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan too, and it was very similar to Game of Thrones. Actually, some characters were kind of like character for character, but I personally, to be quite honest, I think any of these games could win and should win for narrative. Just like Game of the Year, I think they're all worthy as well. I don't have any gripes with pretty much any of these categories. Now, some of the categories and the games that are nominated in them seem like they should be in other places. But yeah, I don't have any gripes about any of them. Best Art Direction, we've got Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. This one I would 100% give to Hi-Fi Rush. The art direction in Hi-Fi Rush, just the cinematics and the cutscenes, and has some of the best animations I've ever seen in a video game. And the way that the rhythm and the like everything moves to the beat, not just your character, but also like the background. You'll see like plants and bushes and like signs are actually like bouncing. It's like what do you call it? Come on. But yeah, it's it just runs very smoothly, and I think it's amazing what they were able to achieve with this, especially coming from the person or the people that made Evil Within. It's just a complete like 180 on style of game. So it was not expected at all, and Hi-Fi Rush deserves that for sure. Best Score and Music, we've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Tears of the Kingdom. Final Fantasy 16's score was fantastic, especially in those icon fights. Some of their themes were just some of the best music I've heard. So it's 100% for me, Final Fantasy 16. But Hi-Fi Rush had great music too. Obviously, it's a rhythm game, but yeah, Final Fantasy 16 just kind of blows it out for me. Best audio design, we've got Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Super Mario, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. I think for this one, from what I've heard, it would probably either be between Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, just for kind of like the spookiness. Alan Wake 2, I think, also has like a lot of like kind of, kind of like if you've ever played Hellblade, and how it kind of messes with your mind, and you kind of like can hear like whispers and stuff. I think the audio design, like they kind of do that. But I don't know. It's kind of hard because I think like Hi-Fi Rush, again for me, like would win this, just because it was like really cool how some of the things like reacted to what you were doing as well, like kind of like added to the music in the background. So yeah, it'd be Hi-Fi Rush for me. Best performance, we've got Ben Starr in Final Fantasy 16 as Clive. We've got Cameron Monaghan. I can't remember how to say his last name, but he was in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. He's also from Shameless and others. Idris Elba, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. We've got Melanie Liburd, Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbin for Baldur's Gate 3, Yuri Lowenthal, Spider-Man 2. You just gotta love Ben Starr. All of his tweets and everything are just hilarious, and he, while there's a lot of other really great actors in this, I do think some of the side characters kind of got snubbed, because there are, especially in Final Fantasy 16, there were some side characters that did a fantastic job as well. But depending on if you've played 16 or not, there is one scene specifically between Clive and his mother that was just on another acting level, and I thought that was incredible. So I would give that to Ben Starr, although everybody else is definitely worthy in that category. Innovation and accessibility. Some games have a lot of different like settings and stuff that you can adjust for disabled gamers, or people that may not want to play like on the hardest difficulty, or maybe for Hi-Fi Rush, for example, like they're not good with rhythm, but they still want to enjoy the game. There's a lot of different ways that like some games will do that, some more than others, and I think it's a good thing for them to do that. It definitely should be recognized, although I think I don't know exactly. I wish that they would kind of, in the Game Awards, when they do like these nominations, I wish they would kind of give little snippets or reasons behind why these were nominated. That way you can kind of, like, if you haven't played any of them, you can kind of give more of an input, I guess. Because I don't really mess with the settings too much on most games. I usually play it as it's supposed to be, like, right out of the case. Just download it, start it, and maybe adjust like the darkness, because sometimes I don't see all that well, and especially if you have like a TV that's like not an OLED, sometimes your it doesn't look right, you know, when you have like really dark scenes and you can't really see what's going on. But we've got Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and we've got Street Fighter 6. From what I've heard, I think Forza actually does quite a bit for those who like are disabled. Hi-Fi Rush, I know they did a lot of settings to where you could change it to kind of tone it down to where you don't actually have to be on point with the rhythm if you're not good with rhythm. So you can enjoy the game. I'd probably... I don't really know enough about these, but I'd probably give it to Hi-Fi Rush just because I've seen what it can do. Forza, I think, also does that as well, but it's kind of hard for me to say because I'm not one of those people that actually messes with those settings. Games for Impact. We've got A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, and Venba. I have not played a lot of these, but I do know about pretty much all of them. Chia was really interesting because it was the little like island of Caledonia that's off of Australia. And some people, there was a team that worked on this that had never like really worked on games before, I think, and they don't really where they're from, they don't really play a lot of games, you know, and they kind of wanted to bring their culture into a video game, and I thought that was really cool. I read on it in Game Informer like quite a while back, but I have not gotten to Chia yet. Venba is this game, this cooking game. It's a cooking narrative game where you play as this family and you kind of learn about their culture. They moved to Canada from India, and they don't, they're kind of, you know, missing their culture, and it kind of goes through a couple of generations of this family, and you learn a lot about their culture through food and how it brings their family together, and how much it means to them. And I just think it was really cool. I really enjoyed that game. It was only about like an hour and 20 minutes long or something, but I would give it to Venba just because it had a really, really sweet story, and it was really nice to play. Best ongoing game, we've got Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Now a lot of these are like here every single year. I think I would probably give it to Final Fantasy 14 Online or Fortnite, just because, you know, my sister plays Final Fantasy 14 Online and she loves it, and they do a lot of updates and stuff, and Fortnite's always doing updates. But I kind of wanted, and even though this isn't like an online service game, I think I would give it to Cyberpunk 2077 just because they have done so much, like as far as like updates and improving upon this game that came out with a lot of problems, and where they are now, I think they've really done an excellent job, and they've worked really hard, and I think they deserve that title, because they went from coming out and being so bugged that I think they got delisted on PS4 for a while because it wasn't unplayable, but when I got it at launch on PS4, the intro cutscene, just the lag in the cutscene was so bad that I was like, there's no way that I can play this game if it looks like this in the cutscene. It's just the main menu cutscene that it looked bad, and I was just there's no way that this game is going to be enjoyable to play. And then I go in, and then of course it's like worse, and I just yeah, I kept waiting, would do an update and would check back, and then it never, from what I had played, it had not gotten fixed. And I haven't gotten back since I got a PS5, and I really want to. But I've heard so many great things about this game. The music sounds amazing, and from what I heard, it really sounded great. Because I could hear the music, I just couldn't really play the game without having a bunch of lag. And so I would give it to them. Best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. I think I would give it to Final Fantasy 14 online, just because of what my sister says, and she's just been going on about this game for years now. Best independent game: we've got Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. I have played all of these games except for Dave the Diver. Unfortunately, I have not gotten around to it yet because I don't have a PC. It just released on Switch, but I have not bought it yet because I don't have the money to spend on games right now. And Dave the Diver apparently is not really an indie because it's owned by this big... the developers are owned by this big studio, but it still kind of seems like an indie to me. But, whatever. There's a lot of people who have different opinions on what an indie should be or is. I guess the same could kind of be said about Cocoon, though, because I think Cocoon was published by Annapurna, and Annapurna, yes, it's all like indie games, but Annapurna is pretty big, and so is Devolver. So where do you really cut the line on that? But Cocoon, oh my gosh, what an amazing game! It was fantastic. So was Dredge is great too. Sea of Stars is great. I only played the demo of Viewfinder, but it was really cool. I love seeing these independent games because, to be quite honest, a lot of the indie games do bring a lot that the AAA games kind of have been not doing so well on anymore. As far as innovation and being different and really trying something new and exciting. Cocoon is one of the best puzzle games I've played, so I would definitely give it to Cocoon. But I really want to play Dave the Diver bad. So Sea of Stars was amazing too, so I don't know. It's really hard to say. Best debut indie: we've got Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Vinba, and Viewfinder. This one I don't know that I would say Cocoon is... I know it's a new studio, but it's from the former Playdead employees, so creators, which, they did Inside and Limbo, and so I don't know that it would be a debut indie, but if that weren't the case, I would probably go with maybe Dredge, because that one was really interesting, but I'm gonna stick with Cocoon because Cocoon's amazing. If Sea of Stars was in there, I would put Sea of Stars. Although they made The Messenger, so it's not really their first thing either. Best mobile game. I don't play mobile games except for what's that? I can't think of the game. Puzzle Quest. I play Puzzle Quest 3, but it's not nearly as good as the first one. Challenge of the Warlords was amazing. We've got Final Fantasy 7 Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. I don't know. Did Marvel Snap come out this year or last year? Maybe it was last year, but kind of an odd selection of games. Is this really all we got for mobile games? Hello Kitty Island? I don't know. But Terra Nil is what I would give it to. I've not personally played it yet, but I've heard amazing things, and I really want to try it because it seems like it's up my alley. So, on to the next page because it's just a crazy amount of games. We've got Best VR AR Game. I don't have a VR headset, but I've played these games in other ways. So, Gran Turismo 7. Well, I mean, some of them. Horizon Call of the Mountain, which didn't really get great reviews. I mean, it was kind of mixed, so I'm surprised it's on here. Humanity. We've got Resident Evil Village, VR mode, movie, and then Synapse. Humanity is really cool. I'm actually kind of surprised that wasn't like nominated in the indie or independent category either, because Humanity's really, really neat. I guess I've never played Lemmings, but apparently it's like Lemmings, and you're trying to move all these humans around in this like big open like puzzle thing, and it can get really stressful, but it's really neat and it's fun to watch it play out when it works. So I would choose Humanity, even though I know that Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to be amazing in VR. And then we've got Best Action Game. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. I've not played it, but it looks really cool, and it's from Soft. And Dead Island 2, which I did play, and actually it was pretty impressive. I did like it. I don't know that I would nominate it for Action Game of the Year, but it was a fun time. Ghost Runner 2, I need to play Ghost Runner. I've heard amazing things about it, and it looks like it's really cool. Hi-Fi Rush, and then Remnant 2, which also like looks amazing too. Hi-Fi Rush. I'm just gonna have to vote for Hi-Fi Rush because I love Hi-Fi Rush. Best Action Adventure. We've got Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna go with Spider-Man 2 on that one again. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I liked what I played, but I have not finished it. I've only been like 6 hours in or something, and then some other game came out and I stopped playing. Then we've got Best RPG. We've got Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, which is hardly... I would put it in the action category, to be quite honest, because it is barely an RPG. But yeah. Lies of P, which is also more of an action game. Sea of Stars and Starfield. Where's Octopath? I don't know. But yeah, this game I would vote for Sea of Stars. That's my RPG. Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing too, but I think Sea of Stars deserves at least something because it was really good. I have not finished it, but I'm like over halfway. Best Fighting, God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which actually got really good reviews, which is kind of interesting. You can play as Hey Arnold's grandma. Is it Hey Arnold's grandma or is it somebody else's grandma? I don't know. She's got her walker and oh man, that's funny. Pocket Bravery and Street Fighter 6. From what I've heard, Street Fighter 6. Just because I don't know. I've heard that it is like one of the best fighting games that's ever existed, and it looks really cool, and it looks like it really changed some things up for a fighting game. I'm not really into fighters that much, so. But best family game, we've got Disney Illusion Island, which I need to play because even though I'm not like that into Metroidvanias, I did really like Castle of Illusion and on Sega Genesis, so I might actually like it. Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Wonder. I'm gonna give it to Super Mario Wonder, even though like Party Animals looks like a really fun time. I'm gonna give it to Super Mario Wonder for sure. I've not played it yet, but it looks so good. Best Sim Strategy. We've got Advance Wars 1 and 2, which I would like to play at some point. City Skylines 2, I would also like to play at some point. This is actually a category that I really enjoy, and there's a lot of people that really just don't like this category at all. But I love RTS games. I love strategy games in general. Civilization, which isn't an RTS. Technically, it's a turn-based strategy. But yeah, and sim games, I think this is my favorite genre. Besides roguelites, they're really growing on me a lot. Company of Heroes 3, and then we've got Fire Emblem Engage and Pikmin 4. And I'm gonna give it to Pikmin 4. I really enjoyed that game a lot. Best Sports and Racing, which is also like a really fun genre, but sometimes I feel like we don't get as many quality ones as we used to get, because back in the day, like on like PlayStation 2 and Nintendo 64, like had some of the best racing games. You got like Need for Speed Underground 2, which was an amazing game. You got Diddy Kong Racing. Ugh, now we just get Mario Kart and that's it. Damn it, Rare. Anyway, EA Sports FC 24, because it's not FIFA anymore. F1 24, which honestly, okay, going back to FIFA, it may surprise you, but I actually like soccer, and I'm not like a huge soccer person. Like, I like sports okay, I just don't like go out of my way to watch them. But I really used to like Winning 11 on PS2, and yeah, so I'm more of or like Pro Evolution Soccer. I prefer those over FIFA. I prefer those over FIFA, personally. Forza Motorsport. We've got Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and The Crew Motorfest. That's gonna be really hard to say. I'm not really into like the sim racing games too much. Although I know like Forza, like I played Forza Horizon 5 for the first time. Well, I mean, it was my first time playing a Forza game, and I was like, this game is actually really sick. It's really good. But like I said, I'm not really into sim racing games too much. But Hot Wheels Unleashed looks amazing, and so I'm gonna give it to Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. The Crew also looks interesting, but I heard it had a lot of glitches, so I'm not going for that one. Best multiplayer game. We've got Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Wonder. Does anyone really play Baldur's Gate 3 like multiplayer? I want to know, because I feel like everybody plays it solo. I don't know. Party Animals, I've heard a lot of really good things about. Street Fighter 6, obviously. Super Mario Wonder, I've heard more people playing it single player as well, but maybe like couch, with your family and stuff. Diablo 4, I liked what I played of that. I know it had like some mixed things on the seasons and whatnot, but I think I'm gonna go with probably Party Animals on that one. Just from what I've seen, and it looks hilarious. It looks like a really good time. I don't play games with people hardly ever, but Party Animals, I would dive into that. Best adaptation, we've got Castlevania Nocturne, which I've watched some of the Castlevania on Netflix, the original one that came out several years ago, and it was really good. Gran Turismo, I have no interest in that, to be quite honest. The Last of Us is amazing. Super Mario Brothers movie was fun. And Twisted Metal, which I also don't really have any interest in. Super Mario Brothers movie was fun. I don't know that I liked it as much as everybody else did, but it was a fun time. The Last of Us was definitely a really good adaptation. Even though they left a lot of the clickers and stuff out, I would give it to The Last of Us. 100%. It was really well done. Most anticipated game, we've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We've got Tears... no. What is that? Oh, Hades 2. I can't read my writing anymore. Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 5. I'm kind of surprised Persona 3 Reload wasn't in there, because that's my most anticipated game, to be quite honest. I cannot wait. Rebirth looks great. I have not finished 7 Remake yet. I got to be like 60% or something, and I have not gone back. Because it came out in 2020, I think, and I don't remember... There was a lot of stuff going on that year, and I stopped for some reason. It had nothing to do with the game. And I have not gone back since, so I probably would have to start over because I don't know. But I need a little break from Final Fantasy after 16 just because I was disappointed with a lot of things, even though like there were some things that were really good with the game. So, Hades 2. Yeah. Hades is amazing. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I'm like still need to play through like all the Yakuza games because I just man, I played some of Kiwami and I really like it a lot, and it's different, but I'm the type of person who has to play everything in order of how it released, so unless it's like not tied to the story at all, which Yakuza is, so we're gonna have to play them in order to get to Infinite Wealth, and it's gonna take a while. Star Wars Outlaws looks really cool, but I'm skeptical on it, so I'm not going to vote for that. Tekken 5, I don't really care for fighters too much, so it's Hades 2, because Hades is amazing. It's a roguelite. Quite personally, I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out next year, I'm sure, and that's my most anticipated game, besides Persona Reload, but Hades 2 is great. Fable, will we ever see it? I don't know. So what do I think were snubs? Honestly, I think most of these were right. I don't think they really missed a lot of things. But I will say that Hogwarts Legacy should have been on there somewhere. Some people will say it was repetitive or it's only like for fans, you know. This game, like, it's still, and sales don't really mean anything, you know. I mean, Modern Warfare 3 could have the highest sales of this year. It probably won't, but, you know, Call of Duty typically has the highest sales every year. Or, like, they're usually up there quite a bit. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's great. Modern Warfare 3 got like a 4 out of 10 from IGN, which is worse than some of the worst games that came out this year, I think. So that's pretty bad. And I used to really like the campaigns on Call of Duty, so. But besides that, anyway, Hogwarts Legacy, they really, really did a lot of research on the lore of like Harry Potter and everything, and I think that the game was like beautiful. Like it really felt like Hogwarts. It was kind of like straight to a T of what I think it would be like actually in Hogwarts, and it felt great. The flying mechanics were really smooth. The gameplay, yes, it got a little repetitive at parts, but there were some like story bits and stuff that I thought were really cool. I could have used like some tweaks and stuff, but for the first time, coming out with a big open world Hogwarts game, I think that they really hit it. They hit the mark with this, and I expected worse. I expected it to not be great, and I kind of, at first I wasn't sure. Didn't think I was gonna go buy. I actually did not pre-order it because I thought it was gonna be terrible, and I really enjoyed it a lot. As someone who's like always been into Harry Potter, and I mean, despite everything, like it's just a really fun game, I thought. Is it game of the year? Maybe not for a lot of people, but I still think that it deserved some recognition for what was done with it, and the developers, I think they did a really good job, personally. Octopath Traveler 2 also was not on there at all, which was really surprising to me. I really liked the first Octopath, and I think that got nominated for things. And from what I understand, Octopath Traveler 2 improved upon like what needed improvements from the first game. So if it was better than the first Octopath, then why is it not in here at all? And it definitely could be in the RPG category because there's several games in there that really should be in action. But other than that, that's really all I can think of. Metroid wasn't on here, but it was just a remaster, technically. So that was a little surprising to me, but that's it. What I'm playing right now, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm only 6 hours in. It's pretty cool so far. I really took some getting used to. It's kind of overwhelming at first, to be quite honest. I kind of just gave in and decided to play it. I put down Assassin's Creed Unity because I just don't really feel like I have the time for games that aren't really on my backlog priority list right now. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. I just finished Oxenfree last night. It was a pretty good game. Spider-Man 2, I'm loving it. I really, really got surprised with this like DJ rhythm mini game in it. Really got me excited because I really like Amplitude and like Guitar Hero and Child of Eden. I've really liked rhythm games for quite a while, and that really excited me. And I also like the science ones too. They're kind of like little biology puzzles. I don't know, but I think it's fun. And yeah, that's it for this video. Oh, Game Club? Yeah, so Game Club Alan Wake 1 for December. So I'm super excited about that because that means that I can finally play through. Not like I couldn't anyway, but like having it as Game of the Month gives me an even bigger excuse to play this game, which is on my top priority backlog. So I'm excited because then I can move on to Alan Wake 2, which is getting so many like great responses, and yeah, I really want to play it. So then I can also play Control because they're connected as well, and I've never played Control because I kind of wanted to play Alan Wake first to better appreciate it, I guess. I haven't played Quantum Break either. I've only played one Max Payne game. They're not connected, but they're all by Remedy. Yeah, I know, like, Max Payne was published by Rockstar, but Remedy was who actually made Max Payne. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the Game Awards. I can't wait to see what's going to get revealed there. Hopefully we'll get some, like, updates, and there's, like, seems like there might be rumors for Persona 6, but I don't know. I don't know if that's this year or next year. For announcement, anyway. Grand Theft Auto 6. Oh. And we thought this year was good. I don't know. We may be surprised with next year. It's kind of like nothing revealed except for like January and February, so we'll see. And we've also got the new Switch console or whatever it's going to be. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what's going to get revealed, because Game Awards is just, I think it's bigger than what E3 was, like as far as announcements and stuff now. At least it seems, because it's like just world premiere over and over and over again, and I really look forward to it. So yeah, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.